behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Paul Mash TV. Paul Mash TV.
Well, hello there. It's Paul Mash TV time again. We're glad that you could join us again today. Got another great interview coming up in just a moment. But before we get into that, don't forget to hit subscribe and click the notification bell. And you'll always be notified of new interviews whenever they become available. And feel free to check out the comment section. Leave a comment of your own. And we'll have links to our caps and t-shirts. So we know you want to take advantage of that. And if you're on Facebook, go to facebook.com/PaulMashTV and like the page, comment on everything you see, send me an inbox. We love to hear from you there. And go to email at PaulMashTV, all one word, at gmail.com, which you can use that not just if you're a band or solo artist wanting to be on the show, but if you're a fan as well, you can use that same email. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget, every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. on Roku channel Smile World TV, one of my episodes will be on that. So stay tuned for that. And also go to www.mikemusic.net/PaulMashTV, which is our official web address. And we're going to recap all that for you at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. From Seattle, Washington, we have Steve Aliment on the show. And another fine artist, and I think you're really going to like him in the song. So before we get into that, let's pay another couple bills with Click Jam. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
We got history, got me feeling the nostalgia when you look at me, thinking about what could.
Okay, interview time again, and here we are with from Seattle, Washington. We have Steve Aliment. Thanks for joining us, Steve.
Glad to be here, Paul. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. We're glad to have you today. Why don't you tell us a little bit to start off with about how you decided you wanted to be an artist? I mean, everybody has their own story, so let's hear your story.
Yeah, I don't think I really decided it. I mean, my mom was a country and western singer on the TV shows around here called the Sheriff Tech Show. And so we always had a lot of music around the house, and she had a guitar, so I got to pick that up a little bit. And then she would always have us singing harmonies in the car, keep us from getting in trouble in the car like moms and dads do.
Mm.
And I just kind of fell into it, first playing with some guys in the neighborhood, and then kind of stopped for a while, but then I picked it up again a little bit in high school. And then when I got to university, I met a lot of musicians, and we started playing together, and it's sort of carrying on ever since.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a pretty good story there. And as always, I tell everybody on my show that I'm glad that you decided that was what you wanted to do with your life, and I hope you're to be doing this for a long time.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like one day I was just like, oh man, I'm gonna be a musician. You know what I mean? It just wasn't quite like that. Just sort of eased into it.
Right. Okay. Well, what were some of the artists that you grew up with that really influenced you, in your songwriting or singing or whatever? Maybe you could tell us a few of those.
Yeah, I think at first was the Beatles, but also my mom had a lot of records in the house, a lot of country records, like that Ray Charles Country and Western record. I don't know if you've heard that one. It's amazing. A lot of Everly Brothers, and also like Sinatra and Dean Martin and stuff like that. So that was always going on, but the Beatles was a big thing, right?
Right.
And I remember my mom telling me, well, you like those guys, you ought to check out these guys. And she got us going on the Everly Brothers, and then, that was great.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And, the Beatles and Everly Brothers, as you mentioned, a lot of those are legends, in music. And so I can understand why you would pick those as your influences there.
Yeah, and then I think later, got into things like, of course, you get into Led Zeppelin and Jethro Tull and
Hmm.
all that stuff. And then probably when I got into university, I started really getting into the punk rock, Sex Pistols, Clash, all that stuff with the new wave. And
Yeah,
yes, it all goes into your head and influences.
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so many that you could pick from anyway, but those are pretty good ones right there. Even the ones you just now mentioned. I mean, again, they're legends in their own time, I guess. um, so why don't you tell us a little bit about how we can find out about your music? I mean, I'm sure it's all streaming, but I know you probably don't have any physical copies, but if you do, you can let us know that as well.
Well, I do have physical. I had physical copies of my latest album, which is called 150 Tears, but I sold them out. I didn't print anymore because now with COVID, there's no shows.
Right.
So really, when you got physical product, it's at a show. That's when people want them.
Hmm.
Now with COVID, I didn't reprint those, but I just continue to carry on. I pretty much every month, I put out a single, and I write it and record it and put it out. I mean, so I always say they're fresh right out of the oven, So like my latest one, We Can Hold Out. I think before that was mixed, I was already working on the next one, which is called Armadillo Tattoo. That's going to come out in early December. And then it's on to 2021. So, I just keep going. I sometimes don't even know what the next song's going to be. I get the one done and get it out there, and then I start sort of thinking about it and goofing around with it. And pretty much do it all right. All the demos I can record right here in my house, and then I file share those around to the other guys that I record with or ideas, and then once we start to mature those ideas, we go in and finish it in a proper studio. In my case, it's usually Seattle Houseboat Studio here in Seattle, which is a floating studio on Lake Union.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, and I'm sure it's available on all streaming platforms as well.
Yeah, it's on all streaming platforms, all the ones you can think of. So you just stick my name in there, Steve Aliment, and they should all come up. And YouTube too,
Okay. Well, that's good. So everybody get out there and get Steve Aliment's music. I know he'd love you for that. And speaking again of music, I guess you just mentioned the video we were going to watch just a minute ago. Why don't you tell us about that video and if there's a story behind it? We Can Hold Out.
Yeah, well, We Can Hold Out was kind of interesting. I was coming back from Mexico in March, right when everyone was starting to really freak out about COVID-19, and especially right here in Seattle, because Seattle was at one point was sort of the epicenter. And so I'm flying back, and you're hearing all these rumors about runs on the grocery store, and all the shelves are empty, and people have no toilet paper, and so we're flying to Seattle, and I'm talking to my wife, and I'm going, Jesus, what are we going to do? Because we've been in Mexico for 2 weeks. More than 2 weeks. And she goes, well, I think we got a chicken in the freezer, and we can hold out. She said, I think we got a chicken in the freezer, we can hold out. And I was like, shit, that sounds like the start of a song. And I sort of wrote that down, and then I put it in my notebook over here and added a few other lines, and I kind of set it aside because as I said, I've always got songs in the queue, and I really got taken over by writing about COVID. Maybe I did too much, but I got a song called The Future of Touch. That's about COVID. I got one called Susie's Got the Flu, obviously COVID related. I got another one called Jesus, Where'd You Go? Which, because I was thinking, how could this happen? Where's God in this to keep everybody safe? And so I recorded those because they really came to me. And then a couple of months ago, I picked up my notebook and I saw that song, We Can Hold Out. And so I really started working on that and just kind of working on, two people locked up in a house, you know, trying to survive during COVID times, and how's it going to go? And then I swerved into some politics in there too. And so, well, you can see it all there on the video. So it's, you know, I'm a kind of a story songwriter. I usually have some kind of a narrative, you know, that I want to lay out there. And that's how it goes. Some people tell me that I'm kind of a topical songwriter, and I guess I am, you know, come up with an idea and a topic and start putting it to music.
Okay, well, it does sound like the song is kind of self-explanatory the way you described it. So I get so.
And it's funny as hell, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Of course, the one you just mentioned. I mean, I watched that too. What was it? What was it? Judy's got the flu or something like that. I forgot the.
Susie's got the flu.
Yeah, and I watched that, and I can tell that you do have a kind of a knack for comedy and music as well, based on that song. So it's pretty good. So and like I said, this song. I'm sorry.
You can't put Susie's got. You can't put Susie's got the flu on your show though, because I say too many swear words.
Well, yeah, that's of course we can allow that on the show, so it's not big, I guess. But I always told this one, "Gotta Hold On." I think you said the name of that song. That is a very good song, and I know everybody's dying to hear the song. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But we want to thank you again, Stephen, for coming on the show. And we'd love to have you back sometime whenever you got something new to plug, and maybe we'll have you back on.
Hey, right on, Paul. Well, I think it's a good song. It's going to come out probably December 6th. So stay tuned. It's called Armadillo Tattoo.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be looking forward to that. And here's Gotta Hold On, I think is the name of the song.
It's called We Can Hold Out.
Oh, We Can Hold Out. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, We Can Hold Out by Steve Aliment, and we're going to watch that in just a second, so don't go away. We'll be right back.